Hey everyone, we're back from our weekend adventure in Nashville. Doug and I went to a prayer meeting this past weekend. Well, actually, it's Sunday, so we just got back like a couple of minutes ago. And I'm tired and hungry, but I just wanted to take a minute to kind of check in and tell you guys how it went while it's still fresh on my mind. I'm planning to do a blog post about it once I kind of sit down and listen to the recordings and write them out and kind of pray over them and see what I really, am feeling about it. But I just wanted to hit the highlights for just a few minutes. So we went up yesterday, dropped the kids off at my grandmother's house, and they had a great time. So that was such a blessing. She doesn't usually keep all three of them at one time, and it's usually a little overwhelming for her. But apparently they were really well behaved, and they had a super good time. So that was really great. And if you guys didn't see the Instagram post, we had $400 that was dropped off for us anonymously at church on Thursday. So that really answered the question of, are we going to have enough money to go do this? We did. It was definitely an answer to prayer. So that was really exciting. And that's not the first time that's happened, by the way. It's happened before, and we've had other people just drop stuff off on our doorstep. God has just continued to bless us through this season when every time we think we're not going to have enough for something comes through. So it's really exciting. And so anyway, we were, we were talking about packing and getting ready and everything, and Doug asks me, so, how are we going to get there? Because we don't really have a vehicle that's good for traveling. Our mechanic has told us, especially about one of them, yeah, it's really not highway safe. I really don't want you traveling in this anymore. After I got stranded in Florida in it, he was like, please don't do it again. So I told Doug, I was like, it's taken care of. We've got somebody dropping a car off at our house Friday morning with a tank full of gas, and we're ready to roll. And, he looked at me and he was like, you realize that this doesn't make any sense, right? We're just having money that's falling in our lap, and people are dropping off cars with tanks full of gas. And I was like, I know, but God is so great, and he's totally taking care of us. So anyway, our friends dropped the car off Friday morning, and that was such a blessing. And so we hit the road after we dropped the kids off at my grandmother's house, and we went straight up to Franklin and went to my brother's house, met him, went and had pizza at a new place that we hadn't been to. It was new to us, Bricks. And my brother knows that I'm always looking for another good gluten-free place, and so he took us there, and so we got pizza, and it was good. And then Doug forgot his jeans, so we went over to Kohl's and got some jeans on sale. So thank you again, anonymous stranger. So anyway, so we did that, and then we went, ran to Whole Foods, got a few things that they have in Nashville that they don't have at our Whole Foods here, and I'm kind of a foodie, so I just love just trolling the aisles of the Whole Foods. That's entertainment to me. So anyway, we went and did that, and then went back to my brother's house and got dressed, just cleaned up a little bit, and went on over to Jack and Peg's. Jack and Peg Christians are the people that host these home meetings, and I've only been to one before, but I met Jack a previous time when he came to Memphis. So anyway, I told Doug all about my last experience and what a blessing it was, and just how much confirmation I got from the things that they spoke over me. And I just thought he could really, really be uplifted by the experience. So when I found out that there was going to be another one and who was speaking, I told him, I think we should try to go. And he was totally all in. So that was great. So we get over there early, about 5:30. The meeting starts at 6:30, so he could meet with Jack and just say hi. And also because, part of his Asperger's makes him kind of just nervous and claustrophobic in tight spaces. And I knew they were expecting a big crowd. And so kind of giving him the lay of the land and kind of just giving him time to kind of acclimate to a new environment before the room totally filled up, I knew was a good idea. So we went and did that, and so he kind of could slowly acclimate to each time that new people came in the door. So by about 6:30, the place was packed. By 80 to 100 people came to hear the speaker, and his name was Richard. Oh gosh, y'all, it's leaving me at the moment. I can't remember. It's Richard something. So it'll be in the blog post. So you can check it out then. Anyway, so Richard spoke for a little over an hour, and it was about basically it was just his testimony of how he was in a car accident. He was not living a life. He wasn't saved. He wasn't living a life for Christ in 1986, I think it was. And he was in a terrible car accident in Nashville and was pronounced dead on arrival. And just about how through prayer he was completely saved. He wasn't supposed to live, but he did. He wasn't supposed to walk, but he is. And obviously this has been, decades ago. And he's still going strong and has a really strong ministry. And even he has a couple of channels on like Dish Network and I don't know. We have AT&T, so I don't think it's on that one. That's all I know. But there are a couple others, and so you can check him out. And I'll try to link to him when I finally do get a blog post up about it. But his testimony, he was funny, and his testimony was just so convicting, and he was such a really good speaker. So that was really good, and just kind of planted that seed of, gosh, Lord, if you could do that for him, you could do it for me. And so that was cool. And after that, they had 3 prayer lines, and our good friends that invited us to this in the first place and also gave us their car, they were leading one. And we didn't go through their prayer line since we have access to them all the time, which is so great. So we kind of focused elsewhere. And we went through Peg and Carol's prayer line, and they prayed for Doug and I individually. But we were both there, standing there together, so I got to hear his and mine, and we recorded them. And one of the most interesting things that Carol said was that she sees me with another baby, which was interesting because I definitely want another baby and have, for a long time. But Doug and I kind of closed that door because of my health issues, and we just really felt like that was the responsible thing to do. But the desire of my heart has always still been that I wanted more kids. So I don't know if she was just picking up on that or if it was really directly that, definitely going to have another baby, so I'm not sure. So we're seeing, we're going to pray over that, but that's exciting. And she also really saw us working with kids in some sort of ministry with children, which really does speak to my heart. I found out since I started teaching kindergarten this year that I love it. I love being around these kids, and I just think of them as my babies when I'm there. So it's just been really surprising because I didn't think that would be me. I thought I would be impatient and cranky and just, ready to get out the door when 2:30 rolled around, and it's just not so. So that's been really neat. So I can see that God may be doing a work in me in that regard. So let's see, what else did they say? Really, Peg said that she saw Doug and I kind of like we had a opaque cereal bag around us that was tied at the bottom with a twist tie. And if any of you know any of our story, like, that sounded totally right. Like, we have been just kind of suffocated by the enemy and under attack since the first of the year. And she said that she could see that the angels were untying the twist tie and that bag was fixing to come off, and he was going to do something great and mighty. And that not only would everyone in the city know our names and our testimony, but that we would be known throughout the world. So I don't know, that's kind of nerve-wracking, but I do definitely feel like God is calling me to tell my story. And if that confirmation weren't enough, when Jack was speaking and praying with Doug and I, the only word that he had for me was that God was going to loose my tongue. And I thought, oh my gosh, if it's not loose enough already, I can't imagine what's coming next. But that was the only word that he had for me, was that he was going to loose my tongue, and that I was already good at speaking in front of like friends and family and telling my testimony to people one-on-one, but that he was going to call me out to something much bigger. So yeah, that's exciting, and I'm going to pray about it, and I'm certainly willing. And then Doug, when Jack prayed over Doug, it was just so right on. It was incredible. He spoke about him seeing God having his hand on Doug's brain, and that he felt like God was trying to do a work there specifically in his brain, which for me just really, kind of speaks to his Asperger's. And he said that there was an emotional component involved, which once again, that's a lot of, Doug's issues that we're trying to work through and that he's been working through this whole year, is how, I don't really exactly know how to describe it, but to have better control over his emotions, and to kind of not let them run his show, and to be able to kind of think that through. And So that was really neat. He also told him he saw him being like a writer or musician, and Doug is definitely a writer. So that was really encouraging. And let's see what else. I'm trying to think. It's not coming to me. Oh, he said he saw this file system, which is so Doug. He, it's, I don't know if it's, a personal quirk or just something with the Asperger's, he can compartmentalize like nobody's business. I can't do that at all. Like if I'm feeling it or thinking it, it bleeds over into everything. But Doug can just systematically just file these things away. And, but that file system doesn't always serve him, because like when it comes to, I think, forgiveness and moving on after certain things, those files are still there. And as much as he wants to, maybe to use like the computer metaphor, to just trash those things, he hasn't really figured out how to do that. So sometimes those things hold him back, because he knows in his heart he wants to forgive and he wants to move on, but those files are just locked in. And so it was interesting that, Jack brought that up, because he never met Doug. He didn't know anything about him, and just everything was so spot on. So, and he just, once again, kind of confirmed that we were coming into something big, that God was going to be making things new and was doing a mighty work, which is something that I, already felt was happening. But it's just so great to get that confirmation from somebody that I really believe is tapped into the Holy Spirit and the power that comes with that. And it's so encouraging to feel like that could be available to me. And I feel it more and more as I, stay in the Word and have my life just more aligned with His will and being obedient. It's just really incredible. It's hard for me to even imagine, if the things that have happened to us this year, if they had happened, even 2 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, forget about it. Like, I just think we would have been toast. I don't think that we would still be married. I certainly don't think that we would be happy. I think we would be miserable, and I would be sick. And, but because we have so much hope, and because God has just been, whispering and finding these ways to confirm all through this path that He's got us, and that something fantastic, some glorious unfolding is coming. We've had moments of sadness for sure, and lots of tears, but we've never been without hope, and our marriage is better than it's ever been. So it's really incredible, and I hope you find this encouraging. And I'm going to go fix dinner and get a bath and bed. So hopefully I'll be able to get the blog post up soon to give you guys more of the details. All right. Night.